Ever wonder why some guys seem to effortlessly attract women while others get ghosted, ignored, or friend-zoned no matter how hard they try? It's not always about what they do right sometimes, it's about what they don't do. And today, we're going to uncover the mistakes that silently destroy attraction before you even realize what happened. You see, most dating advice tells men what they should do. Be more confident, be more charming, be more attentive. Sure, those things matter. But there's a flip side that rarely gets talked about. The critical mistakes that quietly kill attraction, even when your intentions are good. Because here's the truth. Attraction isn't just built by saying the right thing or making the right move. It's destroyed by certain behaviors, often subtle, often well-meaning, that trigger something deep inside a woman's instincts, telling her, this man is not it. And the worst part, most men don't even realize they're doing it. They think, if I just try harder, be even nicer, give more, go out of my way to make her happy, she'll finally see I'm the one. But the reality, some behaviors don't just fail, they backfire. They don't just reduce attraction, they erase it entirely. You might find yourself wondering, why did she lose interest so suddenly? Why did her text slow down? Why is she acting so distant now? By the time you realize what went wrong, it's often too late. So in this video, we're cutting through the fluff. No games, no guesswork, just 5 specific things you must never do if you want a woman's respect, desire, and genuine attraction. Let's get into it. Thing 1, never seek validation from her. This right here is one of the biggest silent killers of attraction. And what makes it dangerous is most men don't even know they're doing it. Validation seeking shows up in all kinds of sneaky ways. Asking for constant reassurance. Do you still like me? Are you mad at me? Over-explaining. I just wanted to make sure you didn't take that the wrong way. Asking for permission to be yourself. Is it okay if I say this? Fishing for compliments. Do you think I'm attractive? Am I funny enough for you? At its core, this all comes down to one thing: insecurity. It's the act of putting your self-worth in her hands and hoping she'll approve of you enough to make you feel whole. But here's what most men don't realize. Women don't want to be your emotional babysitter. They don't want to carry the weight of your self-esteem. The moment she senses that you need her approval to feel good about yourself, the attraction begins to fade. She wants a man who already knows his worth. A man who doesn't need to ask because he already believes in himself. So how do you fix it? Step 1. Detach from her reaction. Say what you believe. Make your move. Be yourself. But don't immediately turn to her like a puppy waiting for a treat. If she laughs, great. If she doesn't, you're still you. Stand firm. Let your confidence come from within, not from her feedback. Because the moment you stop seeking her validation, you stop acting like a boy trying to win approval and start showing up as a man who earns respect. So, once you stop chasing her approval and start standing firm in who you are, something powerful happens. She begins to see you as a man, not a boy seeking validation. But there's another trap that quietly destroys attraction, and it's even more common. Thing 2, never put her on a pedestal. There's a widespread and dangerous belief that many men have fallen for. It goes like this: if I treat her like a queen, she'll treat me like a king. Sounds noble, right? But in the real world, that mindset often backfires badly, because the more you elevate a woman, placing her high on a pedestal, the more she begins to look down on you. It's subtle, but over time, that worshipful energy turns into imbalance, and where there's no balance, there's no attraction. Here's what most guys don't realize. Attraction isn't built through blind admiration. It's built through mutual respect. And the truth is, a woman can't respect you if you're constantly acting like she's above you, like she's some flawless goddess who can do no wrong. Now, to be clear, This doesn't mean you should treat her badly. It means you should treat her like what she actually is, a human being. Real, imperfect, equal. Because here's a truth many men need to hear. She doesn't want to be idolized. She wants to be challenged. She wants to feel intrigued, not worshipped. She wants a man who walks beside her, not one who kneels at her feet. So how do you stop putting her on a pedestal? Step 1, stop over-complimenting her. If you constantly tell her she's amazing, beautiful, perfect, those words lose their meaning. Compliments are most powerful when they're earned and when they're rare. Say it when it's real, not when you're trying to win her favor. Step 2, have your own life. A man who glorifies a woman to the point of obsession usually does so because he's lacking purpose. He has no goals, no direction, so he makes her his mission. Don't fall into that trap. Get busy, build your life. Be a man with vision, with passion, with purpose beyond her. Step 3, call her out when necessary. If she disrespects, you say something. If she acts entitled, don't tolerate it. Respect is earned on both sides, and a woman will admire a man who sets clear boundaries and holds his ground. Because at the end of the day, a woman doesn't fall in love with a man who worships her. She falls for the one who makes her feel something real. And real attraction doesn't exist in fantasy. It lives in truth, in presence, in balance. Coming up next, thing 3, never let her control the relationship. Stick around because this next one is a game changer. So now you know real attraction comes from balance, not from putting her on a pedestal. But there's something else that quietly sabotages many men without them even realizing it. And that's giving up control. Thing 3, never let her control the relationship. Here's something you need to understand. A woman will test you not because she's manipulative or playing games or trying to hurt you. She tests you because she needs to know who you truly are. She wants to see what you're made of. She'll test your patience. She'll test your confidence. She'll test whether you can hold your ground when things get difficult. And if you fail that test, if you crumble, retreat, or bend at every moment of pressures, she'll lose respect for you. Not out of cruelty, but because deep down she's looking for a man she can trust. And you cannot trust someone who folds the moment tension rises. One of the worst mistakes a man can make is allowing a woman to dictate the pace and direction of the relationship. This often looks like agreeing with everything she says just to avoid conflict. Letting her make all the decisions because you're afraid of making her upset. Constantly apologizing even when you haven't done anything wrong just to keep the peace. But here's the thing. A woman doesn't want to lead. She may act like she wants control, but deep down she wants to know that you can take the lead when it matters. Leadership isn't about domination. It's about direction. It's about being a man who knows where he's going and is strong enough to stay the course. That's the kind of man a woman can truly relax with. That's the kind of man she respects. But if you hand her the rein sieve, you let her steer the ship while you sit back trying not to rock the boat, she'll eventually resent you for it. Thing 4. Never be afraid to walk away. If there's one thing that kills attraction faster than anything else, it's this. A man who is afraid to lose a woman. When a man fears losing her, he begins to compromise who he is. He'll tolerate disrespect. He'll accept toxic behavior. He'll stay in draining situations all in the desperate hope of keeping her close. But here's the paradox most men don't understand. The man who is least afraid to lose a woman is the one who often keeps her the longest. Why? Because she knows he's not clinging to her out of desperation. He's not there because he needs her. He's there because he chooses to be, and that changes everything. A man who stays because he wants Tono, because he's afraid to be alone, is a man who commands respect. And without respect, there is no attraction. That's the foundation. But when you fear losing her, you become overly agreeable. You stop enforcing boundaries. You let little things slide. You allow behavior that drains you because you don't want to upset her. And in doing so, you send a dangerous message that your self-worth depends on her staying. But here's what most men miss. Women don't want to be the glue holding you together. They don't want to be your purpose in life. They want to know you'd be okay, strong, steady, grounded with or without them. And that's exactly why walking away is so powerful. Now, let's be clear. Walking away isn't about playing games. It's not about reverse psychology or trying to manipulate her into chasing you. It's about self-respect. When a man walks away, what he's really saying is, I have standards, I have boundaries, and if they're not met, I'll leave. And that speaks volumes to a woman's psychology. Because suddenly, she realizes this man is rare. Most men settle, but you shouldn't. The hard truth is, most men tolerate far more than they should. They bend over backward. They shift their personality. They lower their standards just to keep her in their life. They accept breadcrumbs, hoping one day she'll give them the whole loaf. But here's the twist. A man who can walk away, that's a man who has options. And a man with options is naturally attractive because he's not clinging. He's not chasing. He's choosing. The psychology behind walking away. Women are wired to be drawn to men who value themselves. It's not just about what you say, it's what you do. And if you can't walk away from a situation that disrespects or depletes you, it sends one of three powerful yet unattractive messages. 1. You don't believe you can do better. 2. You're emotionally dependent on her. 3. You'll tolerate anything just to keep her close. None of these trigger attraction. In fact, they do the exact opposite. But when you walk away, something powerful shifts. You activate a deep, primal instinct. She suddenly sees you in a different light, not as someone she can manipulate or control, but as a man she has to earn. She realizes you're not afraid to lose her. And that means she must now bring her best or lose you. Because here's a truth many men forget. Women don't want a man they can command. They want a man they must win. When to walk away. So when should you draw the line? Here are 3 undeniable signs. 1. When she disrespects you, disrespect isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle, like dismissing your opinions, belittling your goals, or constantly pushing your boundaries to see how much you'll take. If you let it slide, you're silently telling her this is okay. It's not. 2. When she plays mind games, if she's hot and cold, sending mixed signals, keeping you guessing or making you feel like you're walking on eggshells, walk. These aren't signs of love, they're signs of control. 3. When her interest fades. If she's pulling away, being distant, barely engaging, or treating you like an option instead of a priority, match her energy. Walk. Don't beg. Don't chase. If she values you, she will notice your absence. How to walk away with strength. Now, here's where most men go wrong. They try to walk, but they stumble. So here's how to do it right. 1. Don't announce it. Real strength is silent. Weak men make a scene. You'll regret this. Strong men, they simply leave. No drama, no warnings, just gone. 2. Don't make it about her. This isn't about punishing her. It's about protecting you. You're not walking away to teach her a lesson. You're doing it because your standards weren't Matan that matters. 3. Never look back. One of the biggest mistakes men make, they walk away, but then text her the next day. They check in, they wait, they hope. Don't do that. If you walk for good. Final truth. At the end of the day, a man who can walk away is a man who chooses self-respect over temporary comfort. He values peace over chaos. dignity over desperation, and that more than looks, money, or charm is what truly sets him apart. That is the kind of man a woman doesn't just want, it's the kind of man she remembers. Thing 5, never be inconsistent with who you are. If there's one trait that quietly destroys attraction without warning, it's inconsistency. You might think you're being flexible, easygoing, or just reading the room. But to a woman, inconsistency sends a clear and dangerous message. You can't be trusted. Women aren't drawn to chaos. They're drawn to certainty, not the loud, arrogant kind, but the steady kind. The quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is and stays true to that no matter who he's around. But when a man keeps shifting his personality, his values, even his humor just to fit in or avoid conflict, he unknowingly chips away at the very thing that makes him attractive, his authenticity. Why consistency matters more than you think. Imagine a man who speaks with conviction one day only to backpedal the next, who acts confident around his friends but suddenly becomes meek around her, who promises one thing and delivers another. That kind of man is like a house built on sand, unsteady, unreliable, uncertain, and whether she realizes it consciously or not, her instincts will react. Because on a biological level, women are wired to seek safety and stability in a partner, not just in terms of money or social standing, but on a much deeper level, emotional stability and psychological solidity. This goes back to ancient survival instincts. In a world full of uncertainty, a woman needed to choose a man she could count on when things got hard. A man who would stay standing when others fled, who wouldn't collapse under pressure or switch sides when it got uncomfortable. So, when she sees that your words and actions don't align, when your mood swings wildly without reason, when you act one way in public and a completely different way in private, she won't feel safe. She won't trust what you say. And over time, she'll start pulling away, not because she doesn't like you, but because something inside her says, this man isn't solid. How inconsistency kills attraction. 1. It makes her question who you really are. If your behavior constantly shifts, how can she trust anything about you? She'll begin to doubt your words, second guess your motives, and wonder if everything you've shown her has been a performance. And once doubt creeps in, attraction quietly slips out the back door. Losing interest. Why inconsistency kills attraction. First, inconsistency makes her lose interest. One day you act like deep conversations matter to you, and the next you seem indifferent to anything serious. One moment you talk about commitment, and the next you avoid it like the plague. You're confident with your friends, but insecure when you're alone with her. All of that makes her wonder, who is the real you? And when a woman doesn't know who she's with, she can't feel safe, let alone deeply connected. Second, inconsistency signals weakness, not adaptability. A strong man knows how to adapt without losing himself. He can be fun at a party, focused in a meeting, and comforting to a friend, all without becoming someone he's not. But a man who constantly shifts his personality to fit in, he doesn't come across as flexible, he comes across as dependent. Dependent on approval, dependent on validation. And that looks weak. Third, inconsistency makes her feel unsafe. When your words and actions don't align, when your attitude changes with your mood, she won't know which version of you she's getting. And if she can't trust who you are at your core, attraction fades, slowly, silently, inevitably. The power of being unshakable. The most attractive men in history weren't the ones who bent to fit the world. They were the ones who stood firm even when everything around them changed. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher, leader. In the midst of chaos, he stood by his principles. He didn't chase approval. He lived by purpose. Or Bruce Lee, yes, he adapted in battle. But at his core, he never betrayed his philosophy, his discipline, his essence. Even today, the most magnetic men are the ones who hold their ground. Not with stubbornness or ego, but with quiet strength, the kind that says, "This is who I am. I will grow, I will evolve, but I will never betray myself." That's rare, and rare is powerful. How to stop being inconsistent. Define your core values and stick to them. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything. 1. Take time to clarify what really matters to you and don't abandon it just because things get uncomfortable. 2. Be the same man in every situation. Whether you're with your boss, your best friend, or a woman you're attracted to, be the same version of yourself. Adjust your delivery when needed, but never adjust your character. 3. Let your words match your actions. If you say you believe in something, live by it. If you make a promise, follow through. Because the moment your actions don't match your words, you lose credibility. And when credibility is gone, attraction dies. Final words. Who are you in her eyes? Attraction isn't just about what you do, it's about what you refuse to tolerate. The man who constantly seeks approval, puts her on a pedestal, lets her lead the relationship, fears walking away, or is inconsistent in who he is, that man loses respect, loses power, and eventually loses her. But the man who stands firm, who knows his worth, who leads without fear, and never compromises his self-respect, that's the man she remembers. That's the man she values. That's the man she desires. Because in a world full of men who bend, break, and beg, a man who stands unshaken is rare. So ask yourself, are you the kind of man a woman can't help but respect? Or just another man hoping for her approval? The choice is yours. If you found this valuable, don't forget to subscribe for more insights. Stay strong, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.